Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing today? This is Yusuf Chowdhury once again, tuning in from San Antonio, Texas. Okay, just give me a minute. It is 5:58 p.m. Central Time. Let me know where are you all tuning in from. Just give me a minute. We'll start around 6 p.m. Okay. So one of the question here from Muad Sayyid, he said, "Why do cow go moo?" And how do I SEO my Etsy store? Well, the reason the cow go moo, Muad, because the cow looks like you. That's why it goes moo. All right. Now, how do I SEO my Etsy store? Let's see. So the thing with Etsy, just like Squarespace and Wix and Weebly, these are template-based systems, so you don't have much of a full control when it comes to like optimizing it. So you have two options. You can do some of the minor adjustment on the back end that Etsy will allow you to basically set up the what you call it, the page titles and the meta tags and the way you write the content, of course. Then after that, you heavily have to focus on the external, which is the off-page SEO strategies. Make sense? The link building, content submissions, and the off-page SEO strategies, right? But when it comes to the it itself, I mean, you really have to work within the platform, right? I believe the platform comes with options like categories. I think it gives you an option to put some type of tags, just like how YouTube has its own tags. Okay, you have to make sure that you are in the proper categories. Okay, and when you upload the images, make sure you give it an alternative text name for it, and after that you have to put the keyword after the alternative text. The images has to be awesome, right? Then if it gives you an option to write good material, then make sure you write good information content within those products that you're selling, right? And the way you position the pictures as well, that actually can matter. Look at your about the company section, right? Put as much information as you can there. And I think beside that, I would probably, it's not an SEO. You can invest in like Facebook or Google Ads to basically get targeted traffic, but that has nothing to do with the SEO, right? So typically, when it comes to optimization, that's about it. I mean, you really don't have a lot of stuff to work with. So what you can also do, I believe Etsy has like a support page where you can go there and just type how to implement SEO, and they will give you some suggestion on what you can do within the platform itself, right? Because they're very limited. I mean, you're not able to do things like schema tag or anything complicated. Like I believe yesterday or the day before, Charles was telling me this one of his clients tried to mess with a system called robots.txt file through Shopify. I'm like, that's kind of impossible because Shopify is not going to give you full access to the backend, and same thing with the Etsy, right? So you definitely have to keep doing Moo all the time for seeking attention. Then after that, look into what you can do within the Etsy store. Okay, so try that, and let me know if that works for you. The second question was, what is branding and how can I start mine? Well, if you look at the concept of branding or the word of branding, most people would think that it's just the logo and color, but that's not it, right? When we talk about branding, we're talking about, like, for example, what is the process of branding? Like how does that process start? Where it comes from, right? So when you think about this concept, if you look about, I'm like, well, you don't know, right? The process of branding comes when your audience, like your ideal customers, your ideal audience, sees your actions and commitment to your actual business, to your niche, to your brand, to your product, and it is about who you are in terms of what type of solution are you providing, right? In terms of like what kind of trust and communication you can develop with your audience. So that's what brand can also consist of, not just the color and the logo, even though those are part of the brand, but it's all about who you are, what are you solving, and how your ideal audience perceive you, like in terms of like customer service or quality of product and whatnot. Okay. And your next question was, how can I start mine? Well, I mean, usually there are many ways. There's a traditional ways, and there's also through digital marketing, which is like a website, having an online presence, having social media presence, implementing search engine, implementing ads to basically push your target audience to find everything within your website for what they're looking for, and have the experience, the amazing experience, whether by buying the product or paying for the service. Okay, so that's how you build a brand. But when it comes to digital, there's so many ways to basically build it. Okay, so that should be the way. Now, so one of the question, this might take a while to explain, and that is, where should I start when it comes to Google Analytics, right? Where should I start when it comes to Google Analytics? Well, first of all, we have to understand like why Google Analytics important, right? That's the first thing. We have to understand why Google Analytics is important in the first place. Once we understand the value behind these analytics. Charles, what's going on, my man? Good to see you, bro. Hey, Lauren, how are you? So the first thing is we have to understand why Google Analytics is important, right? It's very, 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 very important. So the first thing I would say, it's important to have a Google Analytics because you do want to understand the behaviors or the behavior of your website visitors. So what I mean by that, how are they behaving in terms of like what pages they are checking? And walaikum salam, brother Tawsif, كيف حالك? How are you? What pages they are spending more time to go through? What are the top pages? What are they clicking? Where they are actually exiting quickly? Where they are coming from? Are they spending more time from the mobile device or desktop? What locations? What are the top pages? So that's why analytics is very, very important, because you have to understand how my target audience, my customers are behaving when they visit my website. I need to know this because I can accommodate, I can improve, I can adjust to make sure that they get what they need and give them that awesome user experience. Just like in regular stores, when you have like in the grocery stores and the big grocery chain store, I mean, the way everything is designed from the time they enter to the aisles to the purchase to the exit, it's all basically planned. Nothing was just haphazardly put in place, right? There's a strategy behind it. There's a psychology behind it, right? To give the customer that awesome experience, correct? So you have to treat the website the same thing, and you wouldn't know if you don't have these tools configured. So that's why Google Analytics is very, very important, right? So that's one point I can think of in terms of importance. Secondly, what it does, it actually helps you, if you have a business and you have a website, it helps you to make an effective online marketing strategy. So what do I mean by that? If I have several form application or a call to action, buttons or a phone number that is clickable, and making that phone call is like a priority for me as a business. I just want phone calls. So I need to figure out if I get organic visits, if I get like 300 hits a day, out of the 300, how many of them clicking on the phone, or how many of them clicking to get, submit their name and phone numbers and email addresses. Because once I look at the numbers, 300, I get like 100 leads. Then that means if I want to get 200 leads, then I'm going to increase the traffic, whether through organic means or online ads like Bing and Google and social media. Makes sense? So that's how it helps you to understand how to re-strategize. Because without having this information, you are going to be clueless and make decision based on feelings and something that makes no sense, right? So you don't want to do that. Yes, salam alaikum akhi. How are you, Yasin? Good to see you again, bro. So that's the second point. I'm talking about the importance of having Google Analytics on your website. This is not just the main website of your company. You can also use it on landing pages, right? Because you have to understand what's happening, especially if you are going to run ads, right? Lauren right here, she's very, very good with running Google ads and also landing page. I mean, she can also share with you some of her success stories in terms of strategies in landing pages and whatnot. So you might want to ask Lauren as well, okay? Lauren Smith right here. It can also help you to create valuable and effective content. So if certain pages has some sort of content, they are thin content. Thin means like maybe 1 or 2 lines, not enough. And your website visitors are not taking any action, they're not doing anything. Now, based on the information, you can go back and adjust it and add more words and optimize it and so forth to see what is working and what is not working. Because you do not want to build something just based off of what I call this, I used to use this word, thank God, I forgot what it's called. I'm getting old. So basically, like, you don't want to just build it, cosmetic of things, that's what I call it. You don't just want to build something because of the cosmetic of things, right? You got to build it because you got to be effective. Why? Because at the end of the day, you are serving or providing services to your customers. And you want your customers to enjoy, have a better experience, whether through browsing through the website or finding the information that they need quickly on desktop and mobile devices with ease, right? And it's going to be applicable for everybody. Like even people with disability are able to find what they need, and they're not confused. Because as soon people get confused, in a few seconds they get frustrated. So they don't have their attention span is very, very short, right? They don't have patience. So 1 or 2 seconds, if they're not getting what they want, they're just going to leave right away. They're going to go to somebody else. Okay? So the first point, you have to understand the behavior of your website visitor. The second point, it will help you to come up with an effective marketing strategies. Number 3, it will help you to create a valuable, effective content to your target audience. Okay? And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, that you do want to understand where and why visitors are abandoning certain pages. Maybe these pages that you thought that it is going to deliver what it's supposed to deliver, but it's not doing it, right? It can also help you improve your website navigation. If you build the navigation in a certain way and people are not clicking, or your target audience are not clicking on the important pages, or your contact pages in the about page, the last pages within the navigation, but it looks like based on the number that the about page is the second highest visit. So what you have to do, you have to bring in from the last all the way to the first. So you can make the changes based on the data. It's very, very important. I said important to focus on the data, because the data explains to you how your target audience are behaving and what do they want. Imagine if all these customers give you a call every single day to give you feedback. You wouldn't ignore it, right? But now, because practically that's not possible, none of the customers are going to call you to give you feedback, but their behaviors, okay, will explain to you how they behave. Okay? Okay. So this will improve your website navigation. This will also help you to basically give your website visitors an awesome user experience. Make sense? And I think one of the most important thing having the Google Analytics is that you are able to, or you are going to, generate conversions and sales. Don't you like that? Don't you want that? Don't you want that? Right? So these are some of the importance of having a Google Analytics configured to your website. You can also configure Google Search Console or Google Webmaster Tool. These are both are free, and if you want to go extra mile, there are awesome companies like, let me show you. There's some awesome companies that can actually help you get you can record the actual mouse movement for mobile devices and desktop. So let me pull up some of these services here. If y'all have any more question, please feel free to put your question on the comment section. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, let me show you this awesome tool. This awesome tool. Where did the Muga go? All right, so the top companies here, there are many. Now, so Hotjar, we tried with several of our clients. We are happy, and our clients are happy. So the cool thing about the Hotjar, what it does, it will show you the heat map, but heat map is not that important to me. Well, actually, it is important. But what I like about Hotjar the most is that it will record the mouse movement. Right? It will record the mouse movement of some of your visitors, especially if you're running ads. This is really, really good to collect some data. Right? It will also help you with the user experience, UX factor designers, like what's supposed to work, what's not supposed to work in terms of design. Right? So this is really a good company. We do it with some of our clients. We run it mostly for ads, but it can also work for just a regular website if you want to understand what's going on and you make the changes, because part of the adjustment that you are implementing on the website, not just for the look, but mainly for your customer. I want to emphasize that. Like, it's for your customer. You want to give them the best experience, and at the same time, you want to give them an experience that it will convert them into your buying customers or buying clients. Does that make sense? So this website has a lot of documentation, a lot of guides, and a blog post that talks about user experience and whatnot. Amazing resources. I highly recommend you only to check it out, and you can even test it. This is very beautiful. I like the heat map to see in web pages for formatting where buttons may be hard to click. If you see that above the button, you're absolutely correct, Lauren. You're absolutely correct. So this is an amazing tool. I mean, I cannot emphasize enough having the Google Analytics and the Search Console is important, of course, because most of these with the back end, right? But this is the front end. So Hotjar is one company. You can try the free version. Crazy Egg is another one that does something similar. You can look at it. I love about Crazy Egg. They have a tons of amazing content that you can learn from, right? Lucky Orange, it's another one. I think I'm not sure they were the first one, but Lucky Orange, same thing. They focus on conversion funnel. They focus on whatever the heat map and the recording. So these, and then Lucky Orange also has a lot of analytics. So these are amazing. There you go. It records the behavior of your website visitors. See that? Okay. So you can. It also has a dynamic heat map. Beautiful. All right. So you can look into Lucky Orange, Crazy Egg, or Hotjar. You don't have to use all of it. Just one of them should be enough. See which one do you like, which one is you're easy for you to use or you're comfortable with, and check them out. They're all great. Same thing. They have an amazing content. They have a documentation. They also do white labeling amazingly, which means I can have my company name, and on the back end, it's going to say online business owners as a tool. This is the beautiful thing about this. So Lauren, you can definitely add this to your packaging services where you can offer a conversion analysis service, but you can use Lucky Orange white labeling. That way you can have your company name, and that we can offer this as a standalone service. They even have an affiliate program, so if you refer to somebody or run an ad, you get commission on that. Okay. So these are 3 companies that are amazing. I met one company during South by Southwest last year. A company was from Austria, like get to the chopper now, right? Their service was similar to this, but what I loved about their service, the only unique thing about them was the not just a recording option. You can see the mouse movement in real time. It is not recorded, but you can see it in real time. That's what it was cool about it. I just forgot the name. It was Chat something. If I remember, I'll share with you guys. I did give it to one of my team to kind of test and look at it. So that was something super amazing. Okay. So these tools are really, really helpful because you're focusing on conversion. You're focusing on how to understand your customer experience through the website so you can provide them the best service, right? I mean, I don't know how can I emphasize this too much. The data matters. The data explained to you. I mean, they're not 100% accurate. I agree with you, but it's still, I would say 70 to 80%, it's really needed. And you can definitely use this information to go back and make the adjustment, make the changes, make the redesign, because you want to give them the best experience. Just like, having the best experience of customer service over the phone, the front desk, whatever you are, you can utilize the same thing through the social media presence, but also from your website. Okay, so check it out when you get a chance. Okay. So let me know if you all have any more questions. So those are awesome 3 tools. If I forgot the other one, Chat something, man. Let me see if I can pull it up. What was it like? Let's see. It was Chat something, man. I can't remember. And there's so many companies like beside Hotjar, Crazy Egg, and Lucky Orange. There's like User Testing, User Zoom, ClickTable, Full Story. User testing, basically an actual people you pay them, they basically just look at the website and give you feedback. We used that a couple of times with big companies where we actually had to pay actual 1,000 or so to people to give us actual feedback, and we go back and do the redesign. What's a good plugin to work with Google Analytics and WordPress? Excellent question. I prefer Monster Insight. Okay, I prefer Monster Insight. It used to be actually part of Yoast plugin, but Saeed Balki, the owner of WP Beginner, acquired it. So I recommend using this tool right here, Monster Insight. the best WordPress analytics plugin. Close to 2 million professionals who use Monster to grow their business with confidence. All right. So you can use this plugin. It will show you some of the data within your WordPress dashboard. If you don't want to log into Google Analytics, what would you call the holy trinity of analytics review? I know Google Analytics can sometimes not give as much info that you want to deep dive into. That is a beautiful, beautiful question right there from Lauren, because, and she's absolutely correct, because Google Analytics has so many stuff, to look for. Like what areas I need to look at, right? So let me go ahead and mention some of those areas. I mean, they're all important, but for now, for a lot of basic folks, like if I'm a beginner, what areas I need to look for, right? I mean, you can look for, if I can pull up one of the analytics, well, first, before you look at the Google Analytics, you have to understand what are some of these terminologies mean on the back end. When you go to Google Analytics and click on audience, what does users mean, right? Users basically means a user who initiated at least one session. So one session can consist of me visiting a page, going to second page and third page, clicking on several things. All that activities is considered one user. And that one session has many activities. Sometimes you'll see page views in session. That means for a visit, which is one session, how many pages are looked at. So you will see like a page slash session. Like for every session, let's say 2-page average. That means every time I visit, whatever I do, I'm looking at 2-3 pages. So users basically means a user, a person who initiated at least one session. Okay, and this is very important because if you have so-called some type of third-party hosting companies that have their own so-called analytical plugins, a lot of the time the bot can be picked up from those plugins. You will think it's an actual user, but it's not. They're actually just a bunch of bots. So that's going to be some sort of misinformation right there, right? But the cool thing about analytics, it only calculates the person that actually visiting the pages, not just the bot, right? So that's what's very good to have it, right? So you have to understand what users are. Users who initiate at least one session. New users, that means it's a first-time user. So if you visit a website and you went back to it again, you consider a return user. But if it's the first time, that's why it's called new users. Okay, and a session is a period of time or a period time a user actively was engaging within the web pages. So let's say I visited your web page and I went to the 1, 2nd, 3rd page, looked at the bottom, looked at the forms. That's called a session, even though I did a lot of stuff, but that's considered one session. Okay, a new session means just the first time visitor, and the returning session means I came before, right? Page views mean total number of pages visited viewed. When it says page views, how many pages a visitor like myself viewed on the website. Okay, you need to know that. Bounce rate basically means it's the percentage of people who visited your website and left without visiting other pages. So the higher the bounce rate, that means there's something wrong with your website because they're not spending too much time, right? But does the bounce rate alone always mean it's bad? Not necessarily. If you are, let's say, in the roofing business or construction or plumbing business, most customers just want to find the number, find the website, and call you, most of them, to get an estimate, right? So if they bounce quickly, that doesn't always mean it's bad because you have to look at other numbers. Like you have to look at how many, what other pages they looked at, what other information they looked at, what other reason that can give you a number that is not totally bad, right? So, but I recommend that the bounce rate should not be more than 40%. Okay, Charles, I'm installing the Hotjar plugin for a client WordPress site. Awesome, that'd be cool, man. Then average session duration, that basically means the amount of time a visitor spent on the website. So what Google recommends, if the visitor spend more than 2 minutes, that's great. If they spend more than 1 minute, that's not good. So anything 1 minute above or 2 minutes, that's what you want them to do. Exit rate also counts. Yes, thank you. Exit rate basically means they come to the website, from which pages they leave. If it's higher, again, that's not a good sign. Okay. Then you can look at page per session. That means how many pages users are looking for when they visit the website. So you have to understand this definition first, right? You have to understand this definition. So when you go on the back end of your Google Analytics, you can look under the audience section, because this will tell you who are your customers. So that's what the audience section does. It will give you it will give an idea who are your customers. So that's what the audience is for. Plus, it makes sense. I mean, audience, duh, right? Acquisition basically will give you information about where are your customers coming from. That's what the acquisition is for. Then, of course, you also have behavior. That means how they're behaving on the page. Then the last one is called conversion. This one will basically help you how to get more leads. So the conversion will tell you where they're coming from, how they're converting. And there's another option called goal pages. If you set up a goal page for your button or form or a phone number, so the goal page basically will give you an actual result. So sometimes what happens, people are going to go to the form, they don't completely fill it up, but they leave it, right? So what the goal page does, once they fill it up and they submit and they get a thank you message, then Google will calculate that. So this is very important for you, because if you're getting 100 visitors, out of the 100 visitors, how many actually completing the form submission? Then once you get the form submission completed, or the phone call completed, or any action completed, you can do a cross-reference. You can see if I got 10 leads today and the analytics shows, yes, 10 of them actually submitted, then I can do that cross-reference. You know what I mean? Can bounce rate be higher if you have a lot of squeezed pages? That is an excellent question. If you have a landing page or a squeezed page, because they're only one page, right? So technically, if it's a video with the call to action and they see it and submit and leave, yes, it can actually happen because there's nothing else for them to see. But if you have a landing page, and I think we discussed about this, Lauren, if there's a landing page with like huge landing page with so many text and so many information, so many videos, the bounce rate can be a little bit high, because that means they're spending more than 2-3 minutes, right? See, one of the things that the bounce rate is calculated, if I come to your site and in a second I leave, the bounce rate is higher. But if you can keep them for like at least 2 minutes, then the bounce rate is not going to be that high on the squeeze pages. Make sense? So that is an excellent question. So that's how you have to look at it when it comes to basically on the Google Analytics, right? You have to look at these options, this information, because analytics itself has so much stuff. I mean, it has so much stuff to look for, and sometimes people do get confused. You know what I mean? Sometimes they definitely get confused, because I'm like, man, there's so much stuff here. Which area should I look at? You know what I mean? So if you can focus on the audience, acquisition, conversion, and behavior, then this will give you some ideas in terms of like, how they're behaving and what are they doing and what can I do to improve that, right? And you also have to understand that Google Search Console also have some data that they collect. There's something that analytics will not tell you. Google Search Console will give you an information about how many times, which is called the impression, how many times your website actually showed on Google many times, or how many clicks did you get. Because in Google Analytics, when you talk about the session, that session that I'm coming to your page and spending some time, if I don't do anything within 30 minutes, it drops. So if I go back again after 30 minutes, then it calculates as a second session, even though I'm the same person. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to really look at that number. You can go to the settings and change the 30 session to an hour if you want to. I think there's a way you can configure that. But at least you have to understand the number. That session doesn't always mean different user. It could be like one person that came several times. Make sense? Now, when you go to under the acquisition, one of the cool options under the acquisition is the traffic sources, right? Is the traffic sources. Because if you want to understand where the traffic is coming from, you have almost 5 or 6 areas. The first one is called organic search. That means people type the keyword and they found your website and they came to you. Okay. Second one is called direct traffic. That means they opened the browser and they tapped your brand name and they came to your website. This is also very important because it tells you if your second highest traffic coming from your brand name or direct traffic, that means your brand is established. Okay. The third option called refer, that's like a backlink, which is like an off-page SEO strategy. Social media, you can see within the social media option from which social channels you are getting a lot of traffic. Then you can also look at paid search, which means if you're investing in Google Ads or Bing advertising, you can definitely see some information coming from there. When it comes to keywords, unfortunately, back in the day before Google made the update on the analytics, back when Google Keyword Planner used to be called Google Keyword Tool, you were able to see the number one or the majority of the traffic that comes to your website from this particular keyword. And now they actually don't do that. They actually put not provided. Basically, they want to let you see what one keyword that brought you 80% of the traffic. Because if you find out, you're not going to utilize the Google Ads. Make sense? But that used to be back in the day. What other analytics software would you recommend to use along with Google Analytics? Can Google Analytics be hard for e-commerce businesses to dive into the analytics? No, not really, because Google Analytics has an option where you can set up tags, set up goal pages for a specific product, but it's going to be a lot of huge lists, right? It's going to be a lot of huge list of link tracking and whatnot, but still it's free and it still works. And if you combine the Google Analytics, Lauren, with the Search Console and one of those software that I mentioned, which is the Lucky Orange, Crazy Egg, or Hotjar, that can definitely help with the e-commerce, right? Now, there's another company. It's called Clickometer. So where did it go? Where did it go? So ClickMeter, all this specialize in tracking links, especially if you're going to run ads, right? So let me show you. So this is clickmeter.com. You can set up tracking for anything from social posts to ads, landing pages. It is specifically built just for tracking links. That's what is it for. I mean, it's similar to, of course, Google Campaign free URL, but it looks much nicer, right? And look, you can see what kind of companies are using it. Okay, so if you want to play with this, test it, an additional thing, because this company or this service, their whole meat is about analyzing the traffic and the links. Okay, tracking, that's what they specialize, like 100%. So it's a third-party service, of course, but you can, if you want to invest and utilize it, because it's very, very well organized, and you can basically see which links and whatnot. So that's something you can give it a shot. Okay, it's called ClickMeter. Because let's say if you have an organic post and you want to track that, instead of using Bitly, you can use ClickMeter, right? If you have a specific landing page or a blog post, right, you can use a ClickMeter. Okay, so that's a very, very good. We tested it a couple of times. Some of my team told me that we had a good result using it, and so you can look into that. Okay. Now, when it comes to setting up a goal page, Neil Patel put an awesome article, and with a step-by-step guide. I'm going to post it right here, but let me also show you for those who want to know how to set up a goal page in Google Analytics. You can definitely go to neilpatel.com blog.com/critical-goal-types. Okay, from here, 4 Google Analytics goal types that are critical to your business. So you can basically set up a goal for leads, trial sign up for services, account creation, newsletter sign up, white paper download, and ebook download. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to actually use this one and this one for one of my clients pretty soon. Okay, so this link, because I can explain to you the objective of the goal page is to set up some type of code on analytics, so you can basically calculate how many action completes. That's the whole concept behind it. But how to do it, it's manual, so you have to come to this article. And Neil Patel basically shows you step by step where to go and how to set it up. If you want to, let's say, set up a goal page for a destination goal, which is like the landing page where it's pointing to, that's one option. Then you can also set up a goal page for events. You can also set up a goal page for visit duration, like when people visit the website, how long they spend. You can set up a goal page for that. So it's an amazing resource on this page. So I just want you guys to look at it, go through it, and if you want to test it, especially, I'm sure Lauren knows this, and Charles, if you want to go ahead and give it a test, unless if anybody else use a different technique when it comes to goal pages, let us know. So this one talks about pages, visit goal, how many visit, there's a goal for that. Event goals, right? External link to how many external link is going out to, the downloads, how many time spent, I want to calculate that. The social media button, if I have a social media button, how many of them actually clicking on it, right? So it's amazing, and this is free. You can set this up from your Google Analytics. Okay. So Mr. Neil Patel, which is also another great resource if you want to learn SEO, you can definitely learn from him. He has tons of amazing content and a step-by-step guide. So check him out, okay? Because the setting up the goal page is technical, and if I tell you the concept behind it, that's fine. But I have to show you a tutorial, or just use this link and go ahead and try it. And if it gets stuck, just let me know. Yeah, I just posted the article on Facebook right here, so make sure you guys save it. Okay. All right, it is Salman Khan. Wa alaikum salam, bro. How you doing, my man? So, does anybody have any more questions? It is 6:39 p.m. Central Time. Any more questions? Any more questions? Today is a Friday. Still, the weather is beautiful here in San Antonio. Today was what, like a 97? Charles, did you cry in the corner? So let me know if you have any more questions. And if you all want copies of my old, presentation publicly available, I'm going to probably upload more. If you go to slideshare.net or your LinkedIn, I do have, let's see, I have old presentation, but y'all can feel free to use it. Not this time. It's like, not this time. Where did it go? Like, what is this? What is this? Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, so I do have tons of presentations. They're very old. I think go back to 2012. Some of them are relevant. So if anybody wants to like grab it, adjust it, tweak it, you have my permission. Okay, so right here, if you go to slideshare.net, just do a search for Yusuf Chowdhury, then you will see, this content of mine. I think this one on Business Partner, Victor is one of my business partner right here. Very old, but you can kind of, just go through it. If there's anything outdated, let me know so we can update it. I'm going to put your name to update it by you as well, so you can get a credit, for your effort. But these are very old. If anybody can help me to go through these and let me know which one is outdated, which one to keep, which one to remove. There are tons of them. Look at that. So how many pages? Like almost 9 pages, second page. Yeah, there's so many. See? All the classes in the workshop that I give here local in San Antonio, basically give away my presentations. That's it. I'm on all the way to third page. That's it. These are not mine. I don't know who are these people. Okay? So from the first page till the third, you can find my presentation. And in fact, if you are part of my meetup, not bad. And how are things? Alhamdulillah, things are great by the grace of Allah. Alhamdulillah. If you go to my meetup, even though if you're not in San Antonio, you can still join because I can do local workshop and live stream it. But if you go to my San Antonio online marketing group, yes, the San Antonio, I'm going to put it in the comment section here. So the San Antonio online marketing group, that's a meetup.com/SA online marketing. So when you log in, you have to switch it to the old meetup group. So what you do, you click on photos. First, you have to join the SA Online Marketing, which is meetup.com/SA Online Marketing. You can click on photos, right? Once you click on photos, there you go. The old version of the meetup pops up, right? So from here, look at this guy. From here, you can click more. Under the more, you can click files, because they don't have this option anymore. They removed the option for you to upload any presentation. You see that? They no longer allow you to upload any presentation, but I have all these PowerPoint that I used to give locally in the workshop. Some of them are repetitive, some of them are like only once. So again, feel free to download them, go through them, use it for your own presentation. If you want to do a class locally in your location, if you want to do like a SEO class, WordPress, or digital marketing, you have my permission, because these are all public information. There's no secret sauce, right? You have my permission to take it. I just tweak it. The only thing I would ask from you, if you can just kind of give me a credit or give me a shout out, that's about it, right? Because I got it from somewhere else too, right? From SlideShares, and some of the information was publicly general. I just had to tweak and adjust it and add my own knowledge into it. But make sure you give the credit, because at the end you notice some of these presentation has a link back to some of the sites where I got some information from, right? So there's a refer and credit back to the original source. So check it out. It's all from 1 to 9 pages. See, there's so many. There's so many. Start back in 2012. Some of them are repetitive, some of them are the same. So check it out. Something for you to increase some knowledge and share. Sharing is caring, right? Okay. So, do you all have any more questions for me? It's 6:44 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to wait for a minute and see what happens. And as usual, if you all enjoyed watching this live streaming, and if you think some of your colleagues will benefit, just tag them with their permission, of course, and share this. Again, I will appreciate it, as always. And if there's anything else I can help you with, guys and ladies, send me, DM me some of your questions, and just leave in the comment section below. And I'll be more than happy, as always, to give you the resources you need and the help that you need. Okay? All right. I don't see any more question, so I'll go ahead and bounce. You'll have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you guys back on Monday, 6 p.m. Central Time, right here in San Antonio, Texas. Bye-bye for now.